Israel's prime minister expressed gratitude to the Air Force on a tour of an airbase. Much of Israel's attacks were delivered from the air. While the Israeli military was criticized for the high Palestinian death toll, the government says it did its best to avoid civilian deaths. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg has that part of the story.
The war may be over, but for some in the Israeli military, their job is still not finished. All year round, this 22-year-old Air Force sergeant collects surveillance images from the skies over Gaza. During the last 7 weeks of fighting, these assessments help the military decide where and when to strike. And high-resolution images showed who's a target and when not to launch missiles.
When I go in the plane, I come as professional and as ready and prepared that I can to make a change, to make sure that there won't be civilians or children hurt. It's a big responsibility, and I take it on myself.
Her unit operates in the back of American Beechcraft B-200s that have been equipped with advanced Israeli hardware and software. But that's not all.
Attached to the belly of the plane would typically be a payload that contains multiple cameras with multiple sensors. We can't show you them for security reasons, but during a flight they allow a pilot and the crew to monitor and assess what's happening below.
The intelligence they gather is transmitted to headquarters in real time. Here, the military says the targets can be seen getting away in an ambulance. In this declassified clip, an analyst is heard saying there are 15 people too close to the target.
Why have we seen such a high death toll count and such destruction? Why is the world seeing those images if what you're doing is so precise?
Hamas has decided as a strategy to put itself within civilian populations. And therefore we are forced to bring the battlefield into civilian areas, into civilian facilities and infrastructure. And as much as we do to avoid civilian casualties, some mistakes are made and the outcomes are tragic.
But some say the eye in the sky has changed the way war is waged for the better.
Ask yourself, well, how would Gaza look like after a full conventional warfare, urban fighting inside Gaza without the Air Force? There's no doubt that the role of air surveillance and the Air Force scanning and intelligence gathering was extremely important and decisive in this campaign. And you can see that the U.S. is doing the same thing in Yemen and in the Gulf and also in Iraq and Syria.
But in a new age of aerial warfare, that's hardly comforting to those on the ground. Roee Ruttenberg, CCTV, Tel Aviv.